Today is the fourth installment of spring cleaning. As we've been talking about this for these last 3 weeks, and we'll close it up today. But I invite you to join me over in Matthew chapter 28. Matthew chapter 28. And while you're getting there, I want us to notice our truth for this day. Our truth today is this: total transformation is possible, it's incredible, and it's available to you. Total transformation is possible, it's incredible, and it's available. This is the truth that we're going to unpack today. Using the Word of God in Matthew 28, we see these three things that are true for us this morning. So, in Matthew 28, a very familiar passage to us all, we're going to read just a couple of verses here, and then we're going to work through it a little bit. This is after his crucifixion and his burial, this long weekend that they have been working through. And so it says, after the Sabbath, which would have been Saturday for them, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to view the tomb. There was a violent earthquake because an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and approached the tomb. He rolled back the stone and was sitting on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing was as white as snow. The guards were so shaken by fear of him that they became like dead men. The angel told the women, "Don't be afraid, because I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has risen from the dead, and indeed he's going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there. Listen, I have told you." We've been talking about spring cleaning, and we've been talking these last few weeks about some different ways that we clean and some different options when we clean. And as we talk about that, I thought about showing and having an illustration this morning that would help us understand a little bit about what we're talking about, because total transformation is possible, and it is available, and it's incredible. But what does that mean? What does that look like sometimes? Because we don't always get it. We don't always see it, and we can't always see it. Well, here's the thing. All of our lives, when we started life, were like a brand new sock. See how bright this is, and how white this is, and how beautiful this is. This is a nice white, and we really enjoy that. But as we begin to walk through our life, as we begin to involve ourselves in a variety of things, some things come along and some choices come along that are not as bright, and they're not as white, and they may not be quite as pure. And so we might have something that comes along that is very sweet. We think it's very sweet, and so we want to add that into our life, and we want to put that into our life and say, hey, that's really nice. But the problem is it may not be extremely nice, and it may not be something that creates beauty in your life, because just as you can see here, that's not as bright white as it used to be, is it? That's not what it used to be, and that's not what we expect it to be. But we continue to do these things, and we kind of rub them into our life, and we rub them into the different areas of our life. And sometimes we come along, and we may want to add something else to our life that we like a lot. And we just put that into our life. And some people are ketchup people, and some people, maybe mustard is your deal. Maybe that's what you want to add into your life, and so you do that. And then sometimes you want to kick it up a notch, don't you? Sometimes in your world, you want to kick it up. You're tired of the mundane, and you're tired of the normal, and you're tired of the usual. This is where I usually get responses from my adrenaline junkies going, "Yeah, man, I got to kick it up a notch." Life, if my heart's not at 85% intensity all the time, well, then it's just not life. That's kind of what we do. So we want to kick it up a notch, and so maybe we'll add a few other things into our life. Don't worry, Justice. I'll clean this up later. Well, that's probably a lie. I'm probably going to ask you to do this later, but anyway. So, and here we go. And we add this into our life. And we bring this into our life. And we do all these things. Now, apart from the adrenaline junkies and junior high boys, nobody wants to put this sock on. Because it's not what it used to be, is it? It's not the life we used to be. Now, I've asked 3 volunteers if they would to help me for a second. So I'm going to invite them up at this time. And as they're coming up, what we're going to see them do, and I did tell one of them, you might want to take your jacket off for this. What I'm going to ask them to do is they have all kinds of cleansers. I've got different options of cleansers here. And then you can have a cleanup towel at the end. So what I want them to do, go ahead and start. You all have a Brillo pad, because that's really helpful today. You have a Brillo pad and the choice of cleansers. And don't take, in fact, you don't get a choice. Here we go. So I want you to clean the sock. Go ahead, go. Let's clean this sock. You pick the one you want to root for and root for them. Help them out a little bit. They got to get it clean. All right, you only have 60 seconds to clean that sock. Well, I see the comet is really getting with it over here. Oh. All right, time's up. Okay, this is what these are for. All right. Now, as you guys wipe up, all right, now, let's look. Not bad. That's right. Give it up for Katie. Not bad. Now, see, you got to understand what I can just bet I know what Emily was doing with this. Let's just try to cover it up. There's a whole sermon in that right there. Let's just try to cover it up. Then we got this one here. All right, so you can see. So how many of you think Katie won on this one? This is her sock right here. Of the 3, which do you think is cleanest? Is it this one? Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you'd get some love from the youth group, but my goodness, that's a tough crowd. How many of you think she won? How many of you think Brandon won? You got a cheerleader in your family, that's all I got to say. All right, thank you for helping. I appreciate that. I think we didn't necessarily have a clear winner. Now, we had some loud responses, that's for sure. But here's the deal. When we're looking at these socks, and it is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for our life. Because in our life, we started out nice and clean, and then we added things. Maybe it was sweet things, maybe it was other things, it was good things, it was bad things, but we kept adding things to our life until we got nasty in our life. And I have to help you understand what our life looks like before Jesus and in front of God is like some of these nasty socks. And what happens in our life is that we become like one of these socks. And if I would have let them continue to work and continue to work and continue to work, they could scrub on these socks all day long, and they were not ever getting clean. Because there was nothing that they could do to clean that sock. I heard somebody from the crowd say, throw it in the wash with a whole lot of bleach. I've been there. I've done that. And yeah, it gets cleaner than this, but you can always see the mark of the stain even after you bleach it. Right, mamas? You can't get that baseball stain out real well anymore, can you? Once it settles in, it doesn't really come out. And so here we've got all of this issue here. So there's three things I want you to know today. And it's all wrapped up in what our truth was. The truth said that this total transformation, it's possible, it's incredible, and it's available to you today. Now, you might be here and go, I get the whole sock thing, and yeah, we're not going to get that clean, but you don't know my life. It's not possible for my life. It's not possible. And you may be here and you're thinking, this stuff isn't possible for me. Transformation's not really possible when it comes to my life. Maybe you're dealing with this sense of emotion. Just like in verse 1, it says, after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week, the two Marys were going to view the tomb. What did they expect to see when they got to the tomb? They expected to see two soldiers, a closed tomb. They were going to have to argue with them to open it up so they could put the spices on them that they were supposed to do for a dead body. Never in their life did they think that when they got there, it would be empty. Never once, and I don't think never once did they ever think that when I got there, could it be possible that he would be alive? You read through the Gospels, Jesus more than once said that this was going to be what happened, but they couldn't quite grasp it. Why? Because they watched him die. They watched him die. They watched him be buried. They watched all of these things. Just like in your own world, in your own life, you've seen the things you've done. You've heard the things you've said. You know the things you've thought. And you would say, this isn't possible for me. You might be here today and say, you know what? I've tried. I commit. I'm going to stop doing that. I commit. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better. And for a little while, that may work. And it may seem like it works, but down the line, in the long run, it doesn't work. And your life tends to be going back to one of these socks every time. And you say, this just isn't possible. I've tried before. There's no way I can do it. So preacher, you can talk all about being a better person. You can talk all you want about how I need to be more moral or more ethic or more pure or whatever. But you know what? Man, I've tried it and it doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you what, the same thing is true for me. I've tried it too, and it doesn't work. Not when I'm trying to do it. There's nothing I can do to clean that sock back to its pure form. And there's nothing we could ever do to get our life back to its pure form on our own. But you said transformation's possible. I did say it's possible. I never said it was possible by what you or I can do. Because we can't. We can't make it right, and we can't make it pure again, and we can't fix the problem. But it's possible. And we have to believe it's possible. We have to come to that moment and say, it could happen. It could be possible. I want to leave just a sliver of an opening of hope that says, maybe it's still possible. Because let me tell you, the transformation is also incredible. When you read through this and you see all that happened, this earthquake and the angel sitting there and the guards are lying down like dead men, and then the angel speaks and don't be afraid. You know how they always have to say that, right? I mean, I can't imagine what they must look like. I doubt it's much like we could ever think or imagine that we've put into paintings and artwork, because a lot of times they're not that scary. But every time they come, they're, hey, don't be afraid. Here they are again. Don't be afraid. The incredible nature of what was going on here. A dead man rose back to life, and that is something they'd not seen before. You say, no, wait a minute. You Bible scholars go, no, wait a minute. Lazarus rose from the dead. Yes, but Lazarus didn't get up on his own either, did he? Jesus went in the grave alone, and he got up alone. He got up because God said, I want you to live. I want you to be up again. I want you to breathe again. I want you to walk again. You're going to rise again. You're going to rise up and you're going to walk out because God says, let it be so. Let me help you understand something. God is saying to you today, let it be so. God is saying to all of us today, you may be like one of these socks, and you may be nasty, and you may be dirty, and you may be all kinds of messed up, but what God is saying is this: I want to transform your life. And you're going through all your memory banks, you're going through all your files, and you're sitting here listening, and you're thinking, you know what? Man, I've got a lot of stuff that's stacking up. I got a lot of things in my past. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Trust me when I tell you, it is incredible what God can do. It is absolutely incredible what God can do for you, in you, and through you. Total transformation. It's possible. Do you have any hope? I want you to just have a sliver of hope. God can work with just a little bit of hope and just a little bit of faith. And God can do marvelous things. It's possible, and it's absolutely incredible that God could take somebody who was dead and bring them back to life. He could take somebody whose life is completely shattered, completely messed up, completely filled with all kinds of junk, and He can make it new again. He doesn't come in, your life's not a fixer-upper. He doesn't come in and say, okay, you're the worst life in the best neighborhood, and I'm going to fix it up. It's not what He does. What He does is, you had a bad life. How about I just give you a new life? How many of you want a new life today? Because we're tired of the old life. We're tired of all the stuff that has been stacking up in our life. When we come before God and say, God, I know my life looks like one of these, but I sure am tired of that. And I'm tired of living that way. I'm tired of trying that way. I'm tired of being broken down. I'm tired of being shattered. I'm tired of being nasty. I'm tired of being thrown out. I'm tired of being put out. I'm tired of being thrown away. God, I want to be new and I want to be different, but I'm tired, God, and I can't do it anymore, and I can't handle this anymore. It is in that little moment where God says, I can do my best work. When we stop thinking we can fix it, and we come to God and say, I got nothing. God looks down and says, yeah, but I got everything. It's incredible what God can do. It's incredible what God can do in your life. But the last part of this truth is that it's also available. Down in verse 10, Jesus went, in verse 9, just then Jesus met them and said, greetings. And they came up, took a hold of His feet and worshiped Him. And Jesus says, don't be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to leave for Galilee, and they will see me there. It's also incredible and available. It's available to you. These ladies who went to expect a dead body found Him to be alive. These women who went and they saw this incredible sight, but then Jesus showed up with them and said, hey, this is what I want you to do. They got to witness this incredible moment with Jesus. They got to be a part of this fabulous moment with Jesus. He was available to them. He was available for them. And let me tell you, He's available now. Total transformation is available now. It's a moment where we come and we say, God, I've got all this history. God says your history doesn't matter. God, I've got all these things going on in my life right now. God says your present condition doesn't matter. God, I've done so many bad things, and we might not even make it to God yet. You may be talking to your mama or your daddy, or you'll tell this preacher, hey, man, I've done too much. I've seen too much. I've done too much. I've gone too far. And you cannot go too far where God can't reach you. God can reach you. He wants to reach you. It is available to you. It's incredible to you. It is possible. The real question is this: do you want it? Do you want it? Because if I'm going to stand here and tell you the truth, that your history makes no difference, bring it. God transforms it. What's going on in your world right now? Bring it. God can transform your life. You don't have to understand everything, but you need faith. God, I believe that Jesus died for me. A price had to be paid for what I have done in my life, because my life looked like this, and my life was really nasty, and my life is different. And I want to be different. God, I want to be transformed. And the preacher's sitting here saying that it's possible. He's telling me it's possible. He's telling me it's incredible, and I want to feel incredible again. I don't feel that anymore. I feel so horrible and so bad, and the habits I have, I'm so tired of. But I don't know any way out. God, can it be that incredible? And the preacher's telling me it's available. God, is it really? Is it available for me? Is it just available for other people? Because I don't know anymore. And God's going to say, yes, it's possible. Yes, it is incredible. And yes, it is available. See, here's the thing. Your life doesn't just go through some spiritual wash. Your life is brand new that God will give you. So the question is today, which way would you rather live? Which way would you rather experience? Which way would you rather walk out of here today like? Old or new? The choice is yours. Let's pray.